Hello from Седельниково. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about debugging and let's start with the definition.
It was a time when I saw computer for the very first view, and when I saw it, I was astonished how big this machine, how hot, and how severe coolers would work. And then I was thinking, okay, I want to be a machine operator. And then I enter Kyiv Polytechnical Institute, and I learned that there are several level of people who work on the computer. First, it's lamer. Second, it's user. Then it would be like a cracker. Then it would be hacker, and then it would be guru. And when you go for these levels, under the level of cracker, you should already be able to use debugger. And at this point of time, the most famous debugger was Soft Ice. Now it is almost forgotten, but it was just powerful one. You just run this debugger and then you ask it to load any program you want, and then you will go step by step or procedure by procedure. And then you'll see that this program is working in the wrong way. Then you could step backward and make correction and they'll go on. And when I realize how it works, I am suddenly thought it is not hard to break the software protection, and I start to do it even for the money. And I was even afraid that a lot of people would thought how to know this, but it doesn't happen. Debugging, it's not so hard process as it sounds. Yes, you should know several dozen of commands of assembler language, but nothing more. If you used to know these commands, then you will be able to make debugging. Yes, now in School of Troubleshooters, we do not learn soft ice. We learn another kind of debugger. It's called IDA, Interactive Disassembler, and I like it a lot. But anyway, soft ice was like a grandfather for the programs.
Well, yeah, and I was reading a couple of the articles about that one and was, looking into this too. And if something is debuggable, that means that there is a specific way to look at the things, send certain signals, and get certain responses. So how this work? And again, like, am I using as a debugging as a computer one, or maybe some sort of like an abstract system? Because we definitely want to understand with which model or with which part we're working with. What is going to happen if we pass certain things, or actually if we miss certain things? So how do we should approach this, and whether there might be things that actually could not be approachable?
Okay, let's talk just in our usual way, how we do this in School of Troubleshooters. Let's see how it works in real life. I would start a special program. It's called Hacker View. And for example, I will load inside of this program itself. And now we see, like in a matrix, just different symbols. And if you are a hacker, you could understand something. For example, I could understand MZ. It means that this executable file, and also there is this program cannot be run in DOS mode, so it's created for Windows. And then I see a lot of other stuff, but then I will go to switch the mode, and now we see it like a hex mode, and now we have this like in command mode, and then I could go command by command, and I could go to any point. And for example, there are several commands which you should know. Usually they start with J, because J is jump. Jump 0 if it is 0. G and Z, jump if not 0. And for example, let's go further on. G if it is bigger. If it is lower, and something like this. So everything could be debugged, and you see how it works. But sometimes people who do not want their program to be debugged, they use special tricks. For example, I could measure the time of my command. For example, you will start debug my program, and then suddenly I would ask timer for something, and then I will just sleep for a while. And then after 100 commands, I would check how many times happen, how many seconds were ticking, from this my asking time. And usually this 100 commands should run in 1 second. But if the time, for example, would be more than 10 seconds, I would understand that I am working in debug mode. So my program will lead you in a false way. So if you have debuggers and debugging tools, you have anti-debuggers and anti-debugging behavior.
And how the appearance of the cloud system. So, for example, if let's say we want our program, like get something that is not outside of the problem, our outside of it, maybe check its integrity or something like that could affect the debugging. Because my guess is actually it's not, because the moment you know how the system works and the moment you have all of the bricks and all of the tools to mimic or imitate all of the environment, you actually could win it. But whether this war between like being debugged or being actually like totally opened moved further with the development of any of the cloud technologies or maybe just like advanced methods.
It was a time when I was asked by Intel company by itself, Intel Corporation, would I agree to test their protection for a program which was named as Verilog HDL. This program was created to make emulation of the central processor units. And I was saying, okay, I'll do it. And I was given each day diskette, which was posted by the Intel guys from Poland, and then I will go to the post office. I will take this diskette. I would have like 24 hours to break it and then give it back. And then after 7 or 8 diskettes, they have a break and they ask me, okay, you have already broken like 7 our variants of the protection. We are just disappointed. Could you play with us in another game? Can you create a protection? And I told, to break the protection, I need from 1 hour to 72 hours. But to create, I need, I don't know exactly, like 2000 hours. So it's not my profile. I am not able to do this. To make debugging much easier than to make programs. And then after 10 attempts and all kind of protection were broken, they were just so angry and they asked me, okay, would you advise us something? And I told them, okay, you trying to protect the program from maybe your competitors, but this program will work only with your commands, only in your environment. So do not protect it at all. And they were so astonished. And suddenly they say, come on, this is the best advice. So not to do is better than to do it in a hard way.
Well, yeah, I do believe sometimes when you look into a different direction and tell something that no one ever heard of, you actually could reveal something more interesting. And nowadays, given that there's so sort of like a AI companions or AI agents, whether this thing become easier, because again, my assumption is like if those models are more prepared to talk to people, they will be doing the easier talking. But when it comes to thinking, like being more or less artistic, being able to improvise or create something out of nothing, probably, like we're still behind. But I would like to, like get your expertise opinion on that matter.
When you're trying to do something small with artificial intelligence, usually it will help. For example, several weeks ago, we were working with one guy. I tried to help him to be youngest scientist in the Russia on behalf of his father. And we were working in Excel. And suddenly he asked me, okay, why do we always go through the books, which is paper one? Can we use artificial intelligence? And I told him, okay, let's do this, but do not be surprised if it will not work. And we were trying to talk with ChatGPT version 5, maybe for half an hour, and then we got the formula we want, but then neither me nor this person couldn't understand how it worked. Yes, it worked, and we are happy to see the results, but I told, I am afraid to put this in real scientific work, because maybe in some cases, in very rare cases, it will not suit the task. So let's go back and make it by ourselves. Second, I was asking our pupil in School of Troubleshooting, Ramil Mamedov, maybe you know him, and we were trying to do very simple job, how to automate some my routines. And suddenly Ramil said, okay, let's ask Queen, this also AI agent, to write it for us. And then we have a code which is large one and well commented. And then when we start to view it, I told Ramil, it will not work. And Ramil was saying, yes, I see it will not work. And then he take like, I don't know, 2 hours, and he was just trying different models and different AI agents. And suddenly he had the prompt and the answer which will work, but then he also was saying, okay, now I see it is too early to use artificial intelligence to give the whole job. Just partial job could be done, very small one, because those systems have not enough memory to remember how it is working out. For example, you will work on the debugging huge program. Let's talk about Adobe Reader Pro. It is like 2 gigabytes, and when you start debug, it will have like, I don't know, like 20 spots to be corrected in order to work without license. Yes, sometimes you could explain how to correct one spot, one place in the program, but how to explain, let's check in all modes, it would take you like forever, because artificial intelligence will try to work in reality in all modes. But usually, for example, when you work with Acrobat Reader, you work like in 3 and 4 modes, not more, not all of them.
And whether debugging could also be handy, like I would say, like in a normal life, because at a certain point of time, it's not really about, like getting the access to something, but more about, like decomposing thing, see how it exactly it works, what it does behind the black box, and maybe just, like adjust it to your specific purpose, whether it's, like it could be tracing, whether it could be like, like adding additional parameters that you do want to. Yes, I don't mean like go to a legal side, but maybe at least, like making sure that how the specific device, software, or like any time of the item of the physical world works, so that you can use it for your benefits. Whether the skill of debugging could be helpful here.
Not just skill, but mood of debugging is very useful, and I will explain you why. It was like 25 years ago. We were with colleagues, with a colleague of mine, and we were mates, but the student learning, and we came to one door which was closed, and there would be a very old-fashioned lock. You should put not the buttons, I don't know how to explain, but такие вот раньше были не кнопочки еще, а раньше были такие, как будто бы стерженьки нужно было утопить. Like
Still would call them buttons.
Okay,
In a way.
okay, old-fashioned buttons, and we tried to knock, but nobody would open. But we came very long way. Was a chicken producing factory, and we came from another city to help them to work with computers, and it was not impossible. And then I see that some of these buttons were a bit deeper than other, like 3 of them or 4 of them, and then I created in my mind all combinations, and then I start to push it. And a friend of mine, he was a bit older, and he was well educated, and he know even computer better than me. But I was young, I was dumb, and I was trying. And suddenly, after several attempts, I opened the door, and he told me, "Okay, from now on, I will remember your way how it could be used."
And then my last question will be how knowing about debugging could help to make this world a better place.
A lot of people never think about how everything works. For example, how your oven work, how your TV work, how your fridge, how your air condition. A lot of people didn't know that air conditioning just lowering temperature of the air in the room, but it is not taking it from outside. So a lot of people mixed up and mess up. I don't know how to say exactly how things work. And if you have a debugging mood or debugging mode, then you will try to understand how everything works. And sometimes you will find very elegant solutions which could be used in another point of your expertise.
And we review the skill of debugging and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.